Good morning, students. Yesterday, I have explained this chapter, Leaving the Valley. This chapter is about Malala Yousafzai, as how she feels when she have to leave her home and they have to shift another place. So, she have explained her emotions. Now, after that, I started to cry. It was if everyone had been waiting for someone else to start. So, as when she is going to leave her home, then what happens? She started to cry, and everyone else were waiting for someone to start. My cousin's wife, Honey, started weeping. Then all of us were crying. So the cousin's wife named Honey, she started crying. Then all of them started cry. Why they started cry? Because they all were sad as they are going to leave their home. But my mother was very composed and courageous. But her mother was what? Very composed and courageous. What is the meaning of composed? Having one's feeling under control. Her mother was what? Strong and courageous. That's why she is having the control on her feelings and she was unable to cry. I put all my books and notebooks in my school bag and then packed another bag of clothes. So, Malala Yousafzai, she put all her books and notebooks in her school bag, and then in another bag what she did, she packed her clothes. As you know very well that she is very fond of reading. I could not think straight. So she was unable to think straight. What is the meaning of straight? Was not able to think clearly, because one was overcome with emotion. She was not able to think clearly because she was not able to understand that what is happening with her as she is going to leave her home. I took the trousers from one set and the top from the another. So I had a bag of things which didn't match. So she took trousers from one set and the top from another and put that things in her bag, and they were not matching. The trousers were not matching with the top. I did not take any of my school awards or photos or the personal belongings, as we were traveling in someone else's car and there was little room. And she was sad. Why? Because she did not take her school awards, the awards which she received from her school, the school photos and the personal belongings, her personal things she was unable to take. Why? Because she have to travel in someone else's car, and in that car there was only a little space. My mother also said I must leave my school bag behind, and what her mother told, that to leave her school bag on that place only. We did not own anything expensive like a laptop or jewelry, or our only valuable items had been our TV, a fridge and a washing machine. So her mom told what, that do not take the school bag with you, and they left all their expensive things like laptop and jewelry. Only the valuable, that means only the important things like TV, fridge and washing machine they took with them. We did not lead a life of luxury. We Pashtuns prefer to sit on the floors rather than chairs. So she described here that they did not live a luxury life, they live a simple life, and they did not sit on the chairs, they sit on the floors. So what is the meaning of Pashtuns? A person who comes from the part of Pakistan and Afghanistan that speak Pashto, a South Central Asian language. Pashtun means a person who comes from the part of Pakistan. That means from where they came from the Pakistan. So in this two paragraph, whatever I have explained, that as she was very upset and she has to leave her place. So, and they all started crying except their mother, because her mother was so much strong, and she did not took her bag and some expensive things like laptop and jewelry. Only they took what? Valuable things like TV, fridge and washing machine. Why? Because they have to travel in someone else's car and there were only little space. My father had resisted leaving till the end, but then some of my parents' friends had lost a relative in gunfire. Seeing their grief made my mother determined to leave. So, at last, what happened? Her father was also leaving. Then Malala Yousafzai parents' friend, what? They lost their relative in gunfire. And seeing that grief, what? Made my mother determined to leave. When this all things was happening, as firing was going on, then what her mother said? That it's the time to leave. She told my father, you don't have to come, but I am going and I will take the children to Shangla. And what she told? She told, mother told to the father that you don't have to come. There is no need for you to come here. I and my children will go to Shangla. She knew he could not let her go alone. And what she knew, that father won't tell the mother to go alone. My mother had enough of the gunfire and tension, called Dr. Afzal and begged him to persuade my father to leave. So her mother was very worried because of the gunfire. And what she did? She called Dr. Afzal and requested him to persuade my father to leave, and requested him to, that means took the permission from Dr. Afzal that please allow him to leave. He and his family were going, so they offered us a lift. So Dr. Afzal and his family were going, so what they did? They offered them a lift that their family can go with them. We didn't have a car. We were lucky that our neighbors, Safina and her family, were also leaving and could fit some of us in their car, while the rest would go with Dr. Afzal. So Malala and Yousafzai family, they were not having a car, so they were lucky, as Dr. Afzal and his family offered them a lift, plus their neighbors Safana and family, they were also leaving the same place and they also offered them that they can go with them. On 5th May 2009, we became IDPS, internally displaced person. It sounded like a disease. So on May 2009, what they become? They become internally displaced person, and it sounded like a what? Disease. My mother, father, grandmother, my cousin's wife and baby, and my brothers were all squeezed into the back of Dr. Afzal's van along with his wife and children. So mother, father, grandfather, cousin's wife, baby, they all were sitting where? They were sitting into Dr. Afzal's van. There were children in the laps of adults and smaller children in their laps. So some adults were there and some smaller children were there. I was luckier. There were fewer people in Safina's car, but I devastated by the loss of my school bag. So where Malala Yousafzai was sitting, she was sitting in Safina's car and there were only little people. But she was very upset. Why? Because the loss of her school bag, because she was not able to took the school bag with her. Safina's father put his foot on the pedal and away we drove out of the small world of our street home and school into the unknown. So then they have gone to the place where they were unknown. We did not know if we would ever see our town again. And what they were saying, that they won't be able to see their town again where they were living. The streets were jam-packed. I had been seeing them so busy before. There were cars everywhere, as well as rickshaw, mule carts, trucks laden with people and their belongings. Thousands of people were leaving with just the clothes they had on their backs. It felt as if the whole valley was on the move. Few people knew where they were going. They just knew they had to leave. This was the biggest exodus in the Pashtun history. So, there all the people have to leave. Some were knowing that where they are going to leave, but some were unknown. They don't know that where they have to go. Thank you.